Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Michael. Today I want to walk you through one of my percussion tracks, which I called Mythology. It's pretty simple, but it could be useful for your learning. So let me play it through here, and then we'll break it down. Cool. So that's the track. It's about a minute long. Not a whole lot to it, but as you can hear, it starts off like small, and then it gradually gets bigger and bigger with a couple breaks in between. So you've got the first act here, you got the second act here, and then a very short third act here, which is just kind of like the climax. So let's go through our instruments. Basically, what we have going through the whole track are there's snaps, claps, low drums, mid drums, plastics, some booms, some taiko rolls, which are kind of like you can see here the waveform, and then some kind of like whoosh hits, bomber drums, low end drums. So basically, like nothing out of the ordinary, especially if you watched some of my other videos. It's kind of basic stuff. But what did I do to make it kind of effective? So basically, in the first act here, we start off with the snaps, and we have the plastics. It starts off very slow, right? We have the taiko rolls at the start to kind of get us in there. So let me go through it, and I'll kind of just break down what's happening. So at this point, there's a lot of space, right? But there is some interest. You're like, okay, what's eventually going to happen, and hopefully the song hits it, right? So we've got the taiko roll to come in. We've got the snaps, a couple of booms. Let's just see these booms. They have a nice little low end here. You might not even hear that on your end if you're depending on what headphones you're listening through. But basically, we have these snaps kind of leading into things, and then each section is almost broken up into two parts, or at least the first and the second act. The first act, we have this kind of intro. Then we get the damage coming in, kind of creating my favorite word, pace. It creates interest. So let's go from here. Okay, so the things that stick out, obviously we've got this damage patch coming in the second half of the first act that really drives it forward. So you can see that last little part here is just to add a little thickness to it right at the end. We've also got a short riser, which, that's a great... trick's not the right word, but it's very useful for your songs to kind of have like a sound that leads into different sections of the song, right? So it cuts off right at the end, and we have this little break here. So basically, all we did was we had some snaps. You can hear I added in a couple claps. These ones are kind of like big claps that happen at the start of each section, or at the... So they kind of like emphasize each start of the of the beat. So it happens twice. Okay, cool. So and then what bridges us between the first and the second act? We've got the taiko rolls that lead up to the end, along with that short riser I was talking about. So you can hear those here, right? And that kind of lasts right to the end where we're about to start the second act. And in between that, I have some sticks to just kind of bring us along. So let's listen to the sticks. Cool. We also have this epic taiko kind of lead us in as well. Now that we're in the second section here, you can hear, I think it's this sound right here. Let's hear. So I think that's just me saying go or oh with just a a bunch of we got echo on it and some EQing and some decapitator is a distortion. So let's listen one more time. It's just kind of like when I submitted it, they gave feedback. They're like, oh, you know, like something else to just make it interesting. So it's like, okay, let's add some vocals in here. Very like vocals is almost, it's not really singing. It's just like something different to hear as the song is going along. So what really drives us forward in the second act is this epic taiko. So let's listen to the second act, and you hear that it really starts to like just create this like energy towards the second act here. Okay, so let's listen to that on its own. Cool. So that's giving us that energy I was talking about. The epic dulls are still going from earlier, but you can see now that they've gotten a little bit more complicated. But, you know, originally they were doing just kind of like emphasizing different notes. Dun, dun. Now they're really going. We also have just basically I'm adding in more percussion. That's kind of like the lesson here. We got plastics coming in. You can see here the low drums are kind of just emphasizing the first of every beat. Every 4 bars. We got bombers. They're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And all that does is just creates energy as we move towards the second half of the second act here. Our snaps are still doing the same thing. Our claps are still going. Our claps are going more often. Before I was kind of saying how they were happening. I guess that'd be every 8 bars, but now they're happening more often. So let's listen to the second half here of the second half. Okay, so what changes there? It's kind of the same thing that happened at the start of our second act here, where we had where was it? Right here. So the epic taikos kind of come in just before. It's like a little lead into it. So it happens again here with these damage big screen. And they sound like they're like distorted. They're heavy. They're pretty low end. They're kind of nasty. So I just think when they come through, they're integral to the rest of the song. As you can see here, there's like a bunch of things happening that are like really not messy, but they're coming in. They're heavy. So let's listen here. So as I mentioned before, it feels like the song, like I mentioned, that we're trying to get bigger and bigger. So how do we get bigger? So obviously we're adding in more instruments, like I said. We're doubling things. We have new kind of like percussion lines coming in. But you can see, like, for example, my claps. They went from every once in a while to every 4. Now they're just happening all the time. So, right? So the instruments are evolving as time goes on, and they're getting bigger and bigger, along with new lines and just more instruments. There's also, I heard like I think it's this train engine. I don't know why I labeled it that. But it's like a white noise sound. Ooh, is that, sounds like, I thought it would be like broken glass or something. But that's kind of keeping us moving forward. It's just another thing to hear as we're going along, something different. Listen for it. You can also see that the percussion from our bombers here are, now we've got, instead of having just, oops, sorry. So that was kind of what I mentioned earlier. We're just going forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we've got 2 of it, 2 MIDI files working. Right. It's going faster. Makes it more interesting. So now that we've done that, let's go check out the third act in our little, basically, we have a little break here again, and then the third act. So right there, what happened? So we had, it's kind of like a breakdown, but like the snap and the claps bring us right back into it. So it sounds like we have a lot of things playing the same kind of line, like that. So you can see we got 3 new instruments right here that haven't played at any point in the song. We've got a 4th one here. So that's just layering it and making it sound thicker. We've also got these armor hits at the end. So where do we begin? So, and we also got this damage. What's this doing? Oh, okay. So again, a lot of things are doing the. But what kind of, what kind of makes all the energy there, along with obviously the song picking up, is that we have all these risers coming in. So let's listen to these. So that's like a reverse cymbal. So that's kind of like taking us towards the end. We've also got Ferrum, which a lot of people know from percussion music is just like very like snappy. We also got these armors in. Just have deep booms, right? Okay, so that's basically what we've got going on. Oh, and there's these little, one last thing here. These damage. So so those are cool. So the more reverses. So there's kind of like a lot of FX going on here in the 3rd act, along with my voice still going on. We got the train engine, which we already talked about. The bombers have now, I mentioned they got bigger, but now they're happening twice. Let's listen to that. So right, you can see we doubled up on the bombers. That's the progression, right? It's gone bigger and bigger. And let's listen to our taikos as well. Like, so dum da dum. Yeah, so that's basically the track. As you can see, it starts off pretty small. It gets bigger. There's a couple breaks in between each section. And then at the end, it's like, just bring everything I got, make it thicker and thicker and thicker, so that when it ends, with the whooshes and the hits again that we've been using the whole song right here, it sounds like it's gone from small to big. I just think it's got some energy. It's something that I was never really done before in terms of like percussion only, but I guess if you've worked on trailer songs before, you understand how percussion works, so you can, it's fun to kind of pull all the instruments back and then only use percussion in a track. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you got any questions, let me know and I can try and answer those in the comments. Have a great day.